Hello, welcome to this Gespy build stuff video. In this video I would like to take you through my latest purchase. This box contains something that I've been looking for a long time. It is the latest Atari game computer. So no old retro computer from years ago, but a whole new machine. So let's start. So, a new computer from Atari. Most people I tell about it are surprised that Atari still exists. But yes, Atari still exists. But not the same Atari of 40 years ago. But actually, you cannot speak of one Atari. Over the years, Atari has undergone several metamorphoses. Time for a brief history. Atari was founded in 1972 by Nolan Bushnell and Ted Dabney. They first called it Syzygy. But when it turned out the name was already taken, it became Atari Inc. Let's call this Atari 1. They first started with arcade game systems and later home game systems. When they wanted to release the Atari 2600, they needed more financial and marketing power. So Nolan Bushnell sold Atari to Warner Communications. Not long after that, Nolan Bushnell left Atari. You can call this then Atari 2, but let's call this Atari 1B. After the computer game crash of 1983, Warner Communications sold Atari to Jack Tramiel. At that point, it became Atari Corporation. Let's call this Atari 2. Jack Tramiel brought Atari back on top. But in the mid-90s, after the failure of the Atari Jaguar and the Atari Falcon, things went downhill again. In 1996, Atari was acquired by JTS Corporation. Strange combo, JTS was a hard disk company. And that was not a success either. In 1998, Atari was sold to Hasbro, who renamed it to Hasbro Interactive. That didn't last long either. In 2001, Hasbro Interactive was sold to Infogrames. Infogrames was originally a French publisher of computer games. It renamed Hasbro Interactive to Atari Interactive and placed the Atari logo on some of its games. In 2003, Infogrames renamed itself to Atari SA. So let's call this Atari 3. The company used the Atari name for its games and released also the Atari Flashback. But later on, Atari SA also went badly and in 2030 it filed for bankruptcy. But from there, it did reboot again. Let's call this Atari 3B. To survive, it had to sell some of its game assets. It also sold the Atari Flashback license to AdGames. Atari now focused mainly on things that did bring money in, such as licensing the Atari name. Suddenly you saw Atari t-shirts and baseball caps everywhere. The name was also used for a casino and a hotel. There was even an Atari token. As a result, more and more original Atari fans turned away from this Atari. But in 2021, Wade Rosen became the new CEO of Atari and split the company in two units. Atari Gaming unit went back to focus on gaming and Atari Blockchain unit went for the other things. Since then, Atari seems to be on the right track again, like the releases of the new recharged games. It was this Atari SA that wanted to release a new game computer again. In 2017, Atari announced the Atari Box, a game computer based on PC technology. Later they changed the name to Atari VCS, named after their original video computer system from 1972. To finance the project, a crowdfunding campaign was set up at Indiegogo. This was a great success. It raised $3 million. But the actual development of the machine caused many problems. The delivery was delayed every time. And there was also COVID, which caused shortage of parts. But Atari managed to send the first machines to Indiegogo backers just before Christmas 2020. And in June 2021 was the official release. So this last Atari 3 or 3B, has released this new game computer in 2021. Only there were two problems that prevented me from purchasing it. First, the price. Atari sold the CVS for $400, which is comparable to an Xbox or Switch, which actually have more to offer for that price. But Atari calls the CVS a mini PC these days, and if you compare it with other mini PCs, the price is quite reasonable. But then there was another obstacle. Atari only ships within the United States, so I can't even order it from the Netherlands or any other place in Europe. And then suddenly there was a Black Friday sale at Atari, 40% discount. Now the VCS was down to $240. For that price I would like to order it, but yes, it was not possible from Europe. I then started looking to see if there was something possible via detour. That's how I found the company USA to You. This company can order things for you in the States, which they then send to their own address in the US. They will then forward the article to your address in the Netherlands or Belgium. Of course, they charge a fee for this, and together with the shipping costs and import duties, this can add up. But with this 40% discount, this could become an attractive option. Meanwhile, the Black Friday sale had ended, but a few weeks later, there was the holiday sale, another 40% discount. I then immediately had USA to You order the new VCS and have it sent here. Of course, it was holiday season, so it took some time to arrive. But it has arrived. Now let's open it up and take a look at it. Okay, here we have the box. Let's open it. Can't believe I'm finally gonna see an Atari CVS for real. Okay, it's closed very well. So, let's see what's inside. Well packed. Oh, they gave me an American magazine to read, and here we have him. The Atari VCS. Wrapped in plastic. Well, it's a nice looking box. It certainly has a quality look and feel. Let's open the box. But there are a lot of unboxing videos, so we're gonna skip the unboxing. Let's open it. And it's open. This is what's inside the box. This is the classic controller. Feels a little wobbly, but it's okay. This one I like. This feels really good. So I think I'm gonna use this one the most. And a power supply with an American power cord, but I found this one with an European plug, so I can use that over here. And here we have the console itself. Pretty heavy, with a real wood grain front. That's where it's most famous for. And all the connections on the back. Okay, let's try it. It's connected via HDMI and I'm using a wired internet connection. We turn it on and the fan starts spinning. The Atari logo on the front lights up. And an Atari logo appears on the screen. Then we see a nice animation of the Atari game Asteroids. It immediately finds an update, only installing doesn't seem to finish. And when I try after that to create a new account, I get data fetch errors. Luckily, I already read about this problem. It turns out that these units have such an old firmware that they can't make it through the update process. To fix this, we go to the Atari VCS channel on Discord. There we go to the troubleshooting thread. Next we go to the pinned messages. Here we see a number of messages from the user David from Atari. At the bottom we find a link to an Atari OS file. We download the file to flash it to the VCS later. Going back to the top, we find a link to a video on Vimeo. In this video, David explains how we can flash the VCS with the update. I recommend that you watch the video until the end. What it comes down to is this. We use a flash tool to write the file to an USB stick. Then we place the USB stick in one of the USB ports of the VCS. Then the flashing should start. But in my case, I get this message. So we are going back to Discord again. At the top of the pin messages, we see what to do in that case. It comes down to following these steps. Connect a USB keyboard to the VCS. Turn the VCS on while continuing clicking the Del key. You will then enter in a BIOS menu. Go to the option Reboot to Firmware interface. Choose Administrator Secure Boot and then enter this password here. Set the Enforce Secure Boot to Disable and press F10 to save this change and restart the VCS. Now the flashing process will start. First there is a selection menu. Leave it like it is, because after 10 seconds it will automatically continue with the first option. Then the flashing of the VCS will begin. It's important that we do not interrupt this process. When the flashing is complete, the text message "Flashing succeeded" appears. Now we can remove the USB stick from the VCS and restart it by removing the power briefly. When the VCS reboots, it finds another update. This is a BIOS update. We let the VCS install this update. When it is done, the VCS will restart. Now everything works as it should again. And I am able to create an account. And it starts the Atari OS dashboard. This is what the Atari OS looks like. You get a number of programs for free, and I also bought one game. You can buy games in the App Store. But let's play the downloaded game. We start Sir Loveland. It's a retro-based pixelated game, as you find often in the VCS store. This is the kind of games I like to play. I also bought something for the VCS which makes operation a lot easier. There are a number of streaming apps on it, which are actually just Google Chrome apps. You operate these apps with a mouse and a keyboard. For this I ordered a special keyboard, which can be used very well for that. It is the Rii X8 mini keyboard. The color scheme fits well with the colors of the Atari controllers. Keys feel good. It also contains a scroll wheel and a mouse pad. And the keys have an RGB backlight. Let's give him a try. There is a battery cover on the back. It also contains the USB transmitter. We place the transmitter in one of the USB ports on the back of the VCS. The blue light indicates that the transmitter has been found. On the VCS we go to Netflix. We already see a mouse cursor. We control this cursor with the mousepad. With the scroll wheel we go through the movies. We now select the search bar. Let me move the camera a bit. We can now enter a search keyword. And here we have the movie we are looking for. We can then start it with the mousepad. And this brings us to the end of this video. I've had the VCS for a couple of days now and I'm very satisfied with it. Of course, most of the games that you can play here can also be found on other systems, but they usually get snowed under by the huge range of other games. And I think the VCS has that Atari DNA, which I still know from the old Atari systems. The system has also a small but close community. In the future, I want to look into expanding the system with extra storage and memory and try installing Linux and Windows on it, because that is what I like about the system. Where other systems are closed against tinkering, with the VCS it's actually encouraged by Atari. When I come to start with that, of course, I will capture this also on video. So, if you want to stay up to date with this video, click the subscribe button. If you want to support my video, please click the like button. And I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!